Good morning. So let's talk cooking sous vide. Sous vide is cooking in a warm bath. Okay, vacuum sealed or in a baggie, and you cook it for a long period of time. So this machine right here, I've had 8, maybe 9 years. It's by Wanical, I believe you call it, and it's a very simple setup. There's no Bluetooth or anything like that. A lot of the newer ones have the Bluetooth. This one does not. This is what the machine looks like. Very simple setup. It has a coil down on the bottom and then a little circulating pump. And what this will do is keep your temperatures at a steady temperature. So here it is set up. I've set it to 158 and I maxed out the temp or the time. And what we're going to be cooking here first is sous vide beef tongue, which from the other videos you've seen, I love beef tongue. So we're going to cook it up and let's get started. All right, so beef tongue, as we all know, is a very tough form of meat, and it takes a little technique to cooking this. Now, with what's great about sous vide is you keep it at a steady temperature, which this will be 158 degrees for roughly 35-36 hours. And all we're going to do is take this, put it in a vacuum seal bag with a little bit of salt and pepper, maybe some Tony seasoning, and seal it up, and we'll drop it in the water. Now, if you have a vacuum chamber sealer or you don't want to use a vacuum bag, you can use a very thick Ziploc bag. You can use some beef broth in there to really help it along, but I don't see the need for it, so I'm going to vacuum seal it with a little bit of seasoning and call it good. All right, I didn't want to bore you with the vacuum sealing process, but there it is vacuum sealed. Now, you don't have to have a vacuum seal to do this. You just have to have a bag that is rated for the temperature you're going to be cooking in. So what I'm going to do is take this, now that I got my temperatures up, and I'm going to put it in the water. Okay, so what you want to do is make sure it stays submerged. My deal is a chopstick and a little clamp on the side, and that keeps it submerged 100%. Just don't poke the bag. Whatever you do, don't poke the bag. Now, since I've got the older unit, I don't want to put the stress on it. I wrap it, even with when it was new I did this, but I wrap it with a old towel to just kind of insulate it a little bit. And then I might drop over a towel over the top. As long as I don't touch this, it should be fine. It just helps it cook a little bit better. So in a recap, what we've done very simply was just take some beef tongue, stick it in a bag, add your seasonings, and submerge it in water. Now, I used Tony's Creole seasoning for mine. Now, you can put in beef broth if you want, but you can't vacuum seal it that good unless you have a chamber sealer. But there it is. I'm going to let this cook now for 35 to 36 hours. I'm going to say 36 hours just to be safe. And this will be what they call butter meat. It's just going to be beautiful. Good marbling. And if you'll notice, I didn't take off the meat or the skin off the tongue. It'll come off on its own when we're done with it. So I'll catch up with you in 36 hours. So here we are, 12 hours in. Fats and everything's breaking down nicely. But you can see that I'm going to have to add water to this. So, because I don't have no lid on it. But man, that's going to be one hell of a meal. All right, so 24 hours in, we're holding steady at 157.9, 158. 24 hours in, that is looking amazing. So we have 12 more hours to go, and we will pull this and check it. Now, one thing I did say was that you didn't need to have a vacuum sealed bag, and you don't. When I worked with Le Cordon Bleu, I've seen many chefs just take the bag, fold it over, and clip it, not sealing it. But the term sous vide in French actually means under vacuum. So I'm doing it under vacuum, but I have done it without being under vacuum with the same results. It comes out awesome. So not a necessary thing, but it does help. I guess it helps. I don't know. I've always just done it my way. So, all right, let's check in 12 hours. Coming up on that 36 mark. Looking good. I would say another 45 minutes to an hour, it'll be pulled. All right, 36 hours. So what I'm gonna do is shut this all off, and I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes, cool down. I am still canning taters, so not that should matter. Let it cool down so I can handle it a little easier, and then we will cut into this thing and see how we do. So we're gonna save the juice out of this. Look at that. That is beautiful. So we want to cut a slit in this thing. Probably should do this not while recording, so I don't burn the crap out of myself. So I'm gonna pour this into those jars and save the juice. So not as much juice as I thought I should get, but still juice. So this is gonna be good right here. Now, being it's all cooked and curdled up, it's a little bit harder. Kitchen's a mess, sorry. It's gonna be a little bit harder to get in there, but now what we're gonna do is peel this back, and this should fall apart and get us a good section of the meat out. All right, so I ended up quartering it and skinning it. Did use a little knife work. It was a lot easier than when you boil it, but there was a few parts that were a little hard to get off. But all in all, I mean, this meat is just amazing. Look at that. That is. So I'm highly recommending you guys try this, because I don't do this all the time because it takes so long, but I've done it about 4 or 5 times, and every time it just comes out butter. You guys stay safe. Have a wonderful day.